Hi there, guys. Thanks for joining me for part two. Here I have my my burlap piece that I glued down with the hot glue just around the frame, nothing in the center. And I bought these little pine sprays in a haul a while back, and I want to use this to kind of simulate the Christmas tree and an ornament hanging off of it. I decided that, or I think that I'm going to use just the two pieces, so I had pulled that third piece off, but you'll see later on that I end up using it again, so I end up gluing it back on. So I'm going to find a placement kind of where I want the branch to sit. And I'm going to kind of use my ornament there to kind of help with alignment. So once I find like where exactly I want it, I just get my hot glue and I start gluing stuff down. Now you have to be careful with some plastic pieces, sprays and things like that. Hot glue can be so hot that it will melt it off. But it seems that with this spray it held on pretty well. Here are all the pieces that I used for the layout for this project, and I'm just going to show you how I put it all together. This is the Snowflake from the Tim Holtz die, Winter Wonder I think it is, and I cut it out of Chipboard because the chipboard just does not work. I painted it with that blue that I mixed earlier, and then I use this stuff called Snowtex, which I love. It gives this snowy texture to things, and you can actually snow cap things, different projects. It's awesome. I like it. So it has this like ricotta cheese kind of a texture to it, and I just ended up applying it just with this spoon, and I'm gonna use a piece of chipboard star here. After I had painted my snowflake, I just dabbed it on just like I'm doing here. I'm just demonstrating for you guys to see how it kind of works. Not hard at all. Sometimes you can use like a paintbrush, and that helps with like making it look like it's like capped on the edges and stuff. It's pretty cool, this stuff. I really like it. I've had that tub for like 2 or 3 years, and I just sprayed it with water to rehydrate it. So there's my piece, and because it's so stark white, I decided to use my vintage photo distress ink to tone it down a tiny bit. It took it fine. I just dabbed it straight up and down. And I wish I had my macro on at this time, but it shows such an awesome and cool texture. I really like it. I like how it looks. So now I'm going to use my glue gun and glue it down. And just kind of setting it right above the edge of the burlap square. Does pretty quickly. And for my little sign that I made, I love this sign. Since I pulled the branch off of the main branch, that little tip down there is hollow. So what I did is just stab the pin right through it, so it'll fit inside the hollow part of the branch, and that way it doesn't disturb any of the hot glue. And because if it slips out, it's going to be hard to find the hole again with the other pine branches that I'm going to put up in front of it. I will use some more hot glue here to anchor it down. And that just helps with so that it doesn't slip, it doesn't turn or nothing. So, and it needs that, especially for a piece like this. Some things just are not supposed to be moving. So hopefully it stays put. So here I'm just kind of messing with this little photo matte paper onto the chipboard mat, and kind of thinking how I'm gonna arrange it and stuff. So I'm going to set the journaling spot right behind it, but I used chipboard for like dimensionals. I don't like to use like the pop dots or anything because sometimes the adhesive that's on it, your stuff can stick onto it and it's hard to pull out, and I don't want to mess it up. So I just use a chipboard, and I think I use my glossy accents to glue that down, but that helps with stability. And I cut this out of chipboard, my little hollies. It came off of a Sizzix die frame, an original size, and it came with like a scallop frame. So I just dabbed the ink, distress ink, onto the leaf and the berries, and then I glued it onto the clip, and then I glossy accented it, so it has that shiny look to it. So I'm trying to figure out how I want to exactly arrange it. I'm trying to align it where I want it, make sure that it's not too much in the center, not way too over on the edge. And I kind of went by the third or fourth little scallop hole down here. So you'll see them, some of them are like in between it or right above the fourth. Excuse me. So I'm leaving some space up on the top too because I want to make sure that the recipients, if you're putting an eyelet up there, I want to make sure that there's room up there too for that. So I tie a knot back there, but it's not as tight because the pine needles are in the way. So I gotta pull out the pine needles with my little poker tool thingamabob. So I'm pulling it out, and then I'll create my knot, and then I'll kind of adjust the tension of the burlap string there, so that it doesn't hang too much, and then it doesn't look too loose. So I kind of mess with it, and I end up doing like a little trimming of the pine needles in the back there because I don't want anything to be in the way where it's gonna make the piece pop back up and unstick. That's happened on some projects before, so I've learned to kind of get rid of things that are going to be in the way. So I just put a nice big glob of hot glue on where the burlap string is at, and that helps with the fibers of the burlap string to help kind of adhere down a lot better. I don't know if that makes sense or not. Big glob on the bottom part of the chipboard, and then I press it down to kind of I press it down nice and tight just so that it stays nice and tight and in place. So there it is, just a little bit off of the fourth hole down there. So I'm pressing it down into like the fibers too of the burlap square. And then I use my stylus. I normally use my stylus, this little one, to poke things, like small things out of the way, and I actually use it to like cut and take little chunks of like the hot glue like I do there. I use it a lot for that, just to kind of clean it up. I don't want it to show. But I love my hot glue. I bought this in a haul a while back, and I showed it in a video, the little snowflake garland, and it came with some tinsel, like a string of tinsel. Really pretty. And I cut off all the little fibers off of it from the string that it was attached to. And at this point, I had chosen to glue just a couple of them down, but then later on, I decided to do another couple little snowflakes. And the plastic of the snowflake is very strong plastic, so the hot glue does not warp it or bend it or melt it at all. So, and then I don't know why I put it back there, but I did. I guess it felt like it was a little empty, so I just kind of set it back behind, just at the edge there of the sign. But if it's in your way, if you use your heat gun to it to loosen it, and it'll unpeel. So if it's in your way, you guys can take it off. So here is my fresh pine branches that I trimmed off a tree, a pine tree outside. They look like Christmas trees. And as I think I've had it for like 4 or 5 days at this point, and I'm just kind of shoving them back behind the sign so it doesn't cover the Merry Christmas sign. And you'll see that it's so dry that it's bending it and manipulating it a lot like that. It cracks and breaks and stuff. So once I have the entire piece back there, and then if you don't fuss with it, it'll be fine. Just like dried flowers, if you bend it, it'll crack and snap. So just be careful with it. So nice big dab of hot glue again, and it should be stable. So I just kind of place it and press it down and settle it in place. I really like the freshness that it gives with the real pine branches. So, and with my little tile, this is what I did. I really like this because it made it more personalized. So everybody that's in my group that's getting one of these pieces, the initial of your first name, or the first initial of your name is, I just heat embossed it. And I don't know, I like it. I thought it was cute. I was going to do like December 25th, but then I decided, no, everybody knows when Christmas is, and everybody says Merry Christmas, so I wanted to just make it more personal, so I just put your initial on there. I love making these little chip tiles. I like making little fake wooden stuff with chipboard. And here is another snowflake. So I decided to kind of use it as an embellishment too, like a little charm or something. So I sat it right there next to the tile. And then a fourth in between the branches to kind of peek through, like snows when the snow falls and stuff, and you can see through the tree branches and things. And then my flower. I love that I found this 2 rolls in a pack for a quarter. Who can beat that? I grabbed a couple packs actually. They had like 6, and I was not gonna grab all 6 because I really didn't need all that. But so I just kind of put a little bit of, well, not a little bit. I put a nice little glob of glue, hot glue there, and I just set it on top. I didn't want it to be smushed all the way down because I wanted to give a little bit of a lift on the top part of the flower right there. And that's mainly so that the photo that goes on there can kind of have a little bit of more support with the flower that's there and the backing that it's on. So I just fluffed it back out a little bit because I kind of smushed it. And then finally, I get my little paper mat and set it kind of at an angle there on the ornament, and then I just slide the journaling spot back there. And I didn't show it, but I did stamp some lines from a stamp that I have, so you can easily write something on it. And then I use my clip to kind of hold it all together. And I really like how it looks with the little clip and the berries and stuff on it. So there it is. And there's my piece, you guys. That's it. After 2 videos. So the first one will show you kind of all the little things I did to the pieces, and then putting it together in the second video. It's kind of fun. So if you have any questions about anything, let me know. I would be happy to answer your questions. So thank you so much for joining me, and now I'm going to go off and make the other side, and then I'll do a video of that. So you guys take care. Jill signing out. Bye.